What's your deep web story? Found a guy selling carrots. Like, it wasn't code for anything. He was literally just selling carrots for Bitcoin. 10/10 would visit again. I'm just imagining him shrink wrapping and discreetly shipping like a pound of carrots. This was back before Google. Web pages were, for the most part, still very basic HTML with JavaScript. Hardly anyone used CSS. Only discussion boards and some banking sites had anything approaching mature front-end back-end combinations, etc. Early net, real deep web story, not just one about illicit activities online. I was browsing random blogs, GeoCities sites, and the like, just going from link to link. Eventually I came upon an odd page. It appeared to be random thoughts from different people, but for the time, it was very well designed. The messages seemed to be cryptic in nature, like several people trying to pass secret notes. I started through the source, and hidden in the comments of a JavaScript were various IP addresses. I gathered all of the IPs in a text file and began enumerating. Some were routers with banner messages I could telnet almost all at universities. Warning. This is a secure system at University of blah blah. The default Cisco credentials from back in the day worked on most of them, but I didn't poke around. A few of the IPs were web servers with little to nothing on them, mostly Apache on Linux or some BSD. At least one IIS server I can recall. I finally came upon a web server with a huge directory of HTML files and TIFF images, with a few smaller subdirectories containing the same. Lookup returned no reverse records for the IP. A visual route traced it as far as Colorado. The HTML files appeared to be records a psychologist or similar mental health professional would keep. The images were of faxes, apparently of both military and medical nature. As I browsed from a subdirectory back to the parent, at the top of was a new HTML file named something like one hello there HTML. The timestamp was from right that minute. I opened it, and in plain text was the message "we see you." No quotes, all lowercase. About 15 seconds later the server dropped. This is like a super nerdy, geeky short horror story that one might tell around a campfire at a lawn party. I first learned about the deep web back in grade 10 when this really strange doggy kid in my grade was going on about it. We sat together in English and had a new teacher that wasn't quite good and didn't really know how to control the class, so the last 20 minutes or so she would just let us do whatever. Everyone around this kid's desk, let's call him Eli, would crowd around his computer and watch him monkey around on Silk Road and weird other sites he found. Just dogs and hitmen and weird shit in general. I was kinda sketched out by it, so I tried to avoid looking at it all, but I listened and it was pretty FY. Eventually Eli decided to order dogs from some site. This was high school, so we all lived at home, so he figured he'd order DMT to his cottage, go up for a weekend and pick it up to hide in his closet. So he typed in his address to some guy, worked out the details and waited. Went up to his cottage the next weekend and we all waited for his return for the stories. Eli got back and we all ran up to him to ask if it worked. He said it didn't and he was really pissed since he had already paid the guy. He complained to whoever was selling him the dogs and the guy was really understanding and said he sent an even bigger package to his cottage. Eli went up the next weekend. Still nothing. The guy was very apologetic and said he'd send one more. Still nothing. Eli gave up and figured it was just a guy trying to make a quick buck. He gave up on the deep web and that was that. Months later he goes up to his cottage with his family and has a big dinner party with a whole complex of cottages. He's schmoozing around and overhears these elderly people talking about going to the cops. He asks why and they tell him they've been consistently getting shipments of dogs every week. Eli had typed in the wrong address and the guy he was talking to had been sending more and more to the wrong people each week because he felt so bad. He was so sketched out that he quit everything and now is doing quite well for himself. Proud of him. When the dogs arrive and you look in the mail and the only thing going through your head is holy sh, I can't believe there are dogs in my mailbox that someone shipped me. It's a high in and of itself. Obviously a throwaway. This is from way back, when SR1 was still going strong. I was looking for a certain substance, but couldn't find it in my part of the world for a decent price. Posted my request on the forum, and after a few days someone messages me with an offer. For some reason I accepted it and sent him around $200. Of course I got scammed. I didn't think much of it, but posted a warning to others about this guy, saying he scammed me out of $200. Few days later I get a message in my inbox saying something like this: "Hey, I am a vendor and this guy tried to scam me too. He just ordered an ounce of MDMA from me and an ounce of sweet sugar crystals are on the way to his mailbox. Please send me your BTC address and I will send you the $200 he scammed you out of." The next day I had my $200 back and a deep respect for the dark web community. TLDR. Guy scams me out of $200. Someone else scams him of $700 and refunds me my money. Honestly, it's not as exciting as a lot of people make it out to be. There are plenty of hitmen, but I am guessing 90% of them are cops or a scam. Plenty of dogs, some guns. There is plenty of snuff, but you can find snuff on Reddit, so it's not anything special. Overall, I wasn't looking to get arrested, so I didn't do anything besides browse the hidden wiki. Fun story. I used Tor in middle school to get past the websites that were blocked so I could play Congregate. You had to enable Flash for it to work because obviously you need it to play Flash games. But you aren't supposed to enable Flash on Tor because it allows you to be traced. I didn't really care though because I was only using it for Congregate. Okay, this is probably either one of the stupidest decisions of my life or it may just be the only redeeming thing I have ever done. So you all know about Silk Road, the defunct online dog market that was shut down in the 13th of October. The man sentenced to life for running it, Ross Ulbricht, is not the only guy who ran it. I don't think he was too involved at all. I have since moved and the person I am about to talk about has gone ghost as well, so here it goes. I spent a few months dating this guy, considerably older, who was probably running the website for 80% of the time. He was always online, logged in, and many times in front of me not only used the Dread Pirate Roberts account, but also chatted with who I now believe was the Ulbricht boy. My former so often joked that this kid was essentially his robot and worshipped him. I know he had probably over 2,500 bitcoins at one point. I saw other things that he is stupid for flaunting, such as his conversations that he would decrypt and save to USB drives as insurance. His words of him discussing things with police. Either he was an informant or he had them working for him. I think both. I know for a period of about 8 or 9 months that Ulbricht had not logged into the side portal because my ex so became paranoid that the guy might have been arrested or killed or turned informant. He pops back up and they start chatting like old buddies. Supposedly he was hanging out with family and having personal problems. I don't know the specifics and have never told a soul. When they arrested this boy, my ex took off, said he was going to visit his parents and lay low for a bit, and then abruptly vanished. I did see him as last online X hours ago on WhatsApp here and there, so thankfully he's not dead or in jail, I think. For those who might think I could be getting him in trouble and I'm being vengeful, a rat, no I ain't. He's not a US citizen and is most likely not in the US. I decided to check out one of the Successor sites soon after the Silk Road was busted. They had 2 or 3 style looking guns for several $1,000s a piece, some weed, and a metric load of weird research dogs. I was hoping to see things I might recognize like coke or heroin or LSD, but instead I got random mixes of letters and numbers in various pills or powders. It was a lot less exciting than I thought it would be. Way back in the day, beyond the terms of a statute of limitations, you used to be able to use Kazaa and LimeWire and stuff to look at people's entire computers. Since they were stupid and set the entire computer to share, I used to send out an email a day to random people, pointing out that the pictures of them effing their husband, wife, girlfriend, etc. and their social security number were freely available, along with instructions on how to uninstall Kazaa LimeWire. Coming to college, the shared dorm networks were a gold mine. Noticed, uninstalled, never said anything to anyone. Uncharacteristic restraint. Looking back, I guess maybe it's no fun when it's that easy. There was a German man selling pretzels. Just pretzels. Back when Nike was on its way out and P2P was in its infancy, I tried to download The Sims via a private FTP. The guy I downloaded from found a Trojan on my computer and walked me through how to remove it. I would take a bullet for that dude. Found someone selling a wish pill online. Basically you take the pill, make a wish, and it's supposed to make it come true. It just made me laugh how much they were trying to sell it off as something real. They made up fake elements that were supposedly found in nature and showed videos of them making the pill, which was really just a bunch of blue light being flashed at the screen. They were selling it for a $100 a pill. Sad thing is there were probably a few idiots who actually bought it. The majority of these stories will all be the same, because they all come from people who downloaded Tor and went exploring or browsing. The vast majority have found the hidden wiki and clicked on some links. There is a fundamental misunderstanding here of what the dark web is designed to do. Those links from the hidden wiki and other point-and-click entry sites are designed to be found. The most obvious are the darknet markets. They want customers. They put their URLs out there. They list themselves on the wiki and other Tor directories. They don't want the sites to be hidden, just the owner's servers. If you were to go to one of the directories that crawls and links all the live URLs it can find, most of them will be listed as unknown. Some will take you to a site you can look at anyway, but a lot of them will take you to a page where it simply asks for your credentials before you can go any further. There's nothing else. No link to register, no frequently asked questions, no indication of what is behind that password login. The whole idea of Tor's hidden services is that they are hidden from anybody who doesn't have the credentials to get into them. You have to get them in some other way. There's no referral links being spammed on Reddit or the Intel Exchange or general access forums. Some of these sites may be safe havens for dissidents to discuss stuff. Some of them might be the dark spooky places of the novel ep stories. But chances are, none of us will ever know what is behind 99% of them. TLDR, the only stuff you will find by browsing the dark web is the stuff other people have found. I bought a 10 strip of acid on the original Silk Road. The guy didn't deliver. He was a reputable seller to lots of 5-star reviews. I just happened to be one of last customers before he absconded. Had a friend that bought a lot of Molly and other stuff. He never had a similar experience. Don't use it for RCs. You can get those a lot cheaper in forums. My friend got some cheap 4-rack DMT that way. I was 19 and wanted to buy a fake ID, but found out that you had to buy bitcoins and I didn't feel like figuring it out, so I gave up. This was maybe a year or so before bitcoins blew up. I could be living on the moon right now, but I didn't feel like it. Throwaway. Cause illegalness. I was begin to Bitcoin when the Silk Road thing happened, and I got into buying certain merchandise online. The first time I was very nervous about the potential of getting caught, so I decided to have the first product sent to my office. I had it addressed generically to the IT department, and my boss, who is a good friend, was going to keep an eye out on it for me. I figured this would give me enough deniability if it was intercepted. Things went very wrong. It came in, and instead of the package going to my boss, it went to his boss. Now, the company I worked for at the time is a very large behemoth with access to credit information on just about everyone in the US. Every employee is dog tested and we have random tests. This would be a huge issue. So, I was at lunch when the package was delivered and opened. I was actually coming back when I got a call from a project manager. Hey, so, did you have anything sent to the office? No, nothing. Why? Not going to admit to this. Nothing strange sent here? Nope. Well, boss, just received a package, and it contains marijuana. Well, I had enough deniability that while plenty of people suspected me, I got off. I learned something about my boss that day. He didn't tell anyone upstream about it, and rumor has it that he took it home and smoked it. You mailed dogs to your workplace? Well, you are an idiot.